right.
Yeah, Commissioner.
All right. We are back in session as Board of County Commissioners. This is a public hearing on the 2024 budget. And so I'm going to turn a minute over to Commissioner Huff. Comments?
Give me a second then. Sorry. Actually, start with Commissioner Crowder, if you would.
All right. Well, my only comment would be, I think everybody involved with this, which includes the elected officials, staff, department heads, everybody worked very diligently this year to deliver for the taxpayers primarily, and I feel like we did that, and I'm very happy to have been a part of this process.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready now. Got my note up.
All right.
I feel like we've done a pretty good job of communicating to the public what we did in the budget, but a couple things that I think we left out of some of our communications is the hurdles that we had to overcome to remain as flat as we did. The big one is our health insurance increased over 16%, which is about a $1.7 million hit that we had to absorb. The health department, which is an unfunded mandate from the state, cost us another $1.1 million that we had to overcome. And the last thing that we had to overcome was an extra pay period, which was $888,000. So all told, we had to overcome a little over $3 million, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're trying to maintain and minimize a taxpayer ask while still trying to take care of our employees, that was a challenge. I really want to give the clerk and his staff, Christy and Caitlin, a lot of kudos for the work that they did to help find ways to do this. Their suggestions and their input was fantastic. Also, the team that worked on this, the discussions we had as we went through line by line were excellent. We had a lot of really great discussions trying to find ways to do this. The only concern that I have is going forward, we still have some salary issues with people within the county. And I was reading some stuff this morning about the state of the economy and things, and I worry about us putting ourselves a little bit farther behind by not making much of a movement this year. But I am proud of the work that we've done, and I feel like, given the circumstances, we did about as good as we could do where we were at. And so I echo Commissioner Crowder. I think we have a budget that we can stand behind and be proud of and work with. And again, thanks to all that participated.
Okay. And along that line, when you talked about our health insurance going up the rate that it did, we did not increase anything to our employees. So we still have some of the best benefits out there for our employees, and they're vital to us. Our employees are, and so is the taxpayer. And as we weigh both sides, we take it very, very seriously. So for the public hearing part of it.
Well, Mr. Chair, can I make one more comment
Yes,
real quick?
yes.
I just want to make a clarification that this comes up from time to time. Overall, the budget did increase. However, the portion that we asked for taxes did not. And that's a very big distinction that people sometimes forget. Especially as we go into an election cycle next year, people will say our budget's gone up. That is true, but the tax portion of the budget has not. And our tax portion of the budget actually should have reduced about $25 per 100,000. So for a $300,000 house, that's at least a $75 reduction, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the county for the county portion. Thank you. But it is something, and we did a good job keeping that in mind. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. So for the public hearing part of this, we have one person that's signed up. We'll allow you 3 minutes, and just that all discussion needs to come to the board. We're not talking about personnel or people, but about the budget itself. So keep it to that point. And Heather, you're the one that has signed up.
Would you like me to state my name for the
Yes,
record?
please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Heather Disselkoon, and I reside in Pocatello, Idaho. I hope someday soon, at your next hearing, that there'll be another 20 people in line behind me coming to your public hearing to testify. One of the difficult things for a member of the public with these public hearings is to feel like you can say something of substance. Because when you look at this document, this is great, this is high level. I don't really know much about your budget based on this. Some of you know me from my civic work, and you know that we follow the city a lot more closely than we do the county. So I fully admit that I am ignorant to a lot of what has gone on during this budget cycle, but I would like to thank you for what I do know, for the efforts that you have made, for the efforts of your staff, Ms. Klausner and Mr. Dixon, who helped immensely with this budget, and for the sacrifices that the employees have made, because I think I've shared with some of you that this really speaks to the public, that you are trying to come alongside the members of the public who are struggling right now with inflation and everything else. Many people who have not seen raises necessarily. I think this says a lot to them. Specifically within the budget, and we have a copy that we were able to get through a public record back, I think it was around the first week of August, so it's not the final copy. But I was looking at that one and the one from last year's that is published online. I do have some concerns, and I hope in the coming year maybe you'll have some conversations about some of the contributions that you make to nonprofits in the, how do you say, the indigent fund, I believe. I'm not understanding exactly where the source of those funds are, if those are from property tax dollars or if there's money that's funneled from the state to that. But as a member of the public, I'm not 100% convinced that is administered in the most fair way. There are a lot of nonprofits out there doing a lot of good work, and I am not understanding of what metrics you use to evaluate which ones you choose to administer money to and how that relates. So I think that's an area that there could be some better communication with the public, because that money, I think it was like $300 and some thousand for some of the nonprofits. That would go a long way towards bringing some of those salaries up for your employees that are under market right now. So that's just one recommendation I'd make. I also have some concerns about one of the contributions. Last year it was in the indigent fund. I couldn't find it in this year's budget, so I think it's been moved over to another department in relation to economic development. And my one concern that I want to share with that is I really feel that after 2 years, there should be an operational website that is up and running. And in 2 years, that has not happened. The civic work that I do, we managed to put up, albeit a amateur website, in about 10 weeks. And so I think that there needs to be some metrics and some requirements of the money that are being contributed towards those groups. And that's it. Those are my comments.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate the suggestions too.
Thank you.
All right. Any final comments?
Nope.
Anything? Jason?
I'd just like to echo what has been said, and I feel like this has been a really smooth budget process, and I appreciate the hard work that everyone has put in. I would also, because I have the opportunity to speak right now, I would also, for anyone that watches this or gets a copy of the minutes, please remember that there are a lot of taxing districts, and they are all responsible for themselves. And just because you pay your taxes to Bannock County as the tax collection agency, if your taxes go up this year, it is not because of the county. It is because some other taxing district that you pay into did take a budget increase for their tax portion. So,
Thank you. And I just want to close by echoing what has been said by both commissioners. We have good people that work in this county that love what they do, and that's part of the reason they're here. We're not able to pay what the general public pays, but we sure try to help with the benefit package that we have. We sure try to make the environment that we work under. Like I tell people, most time if you're not coming up for a wedding license, you never like coming in this door, because you're paying a fine, you're going to court, you're doing something that you've usually been in trouble for. So for our people to work with the public the way that they do, I would just like to publicly say thank you for our leaders, for our elected officials, for our employees. I hear quite often, well, they don't need a raise. No, they do. They do. They have to raise a family also. So, anyway, thank you all for participating, and with that being said, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and we are adjourned.
Do we need to make a motion?
Oh, better have a motion to accept this, huh? Yeah. Okay. Hindsight, we're not adjourned. We've closed the public hearing, now we'll have a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we adopt the FY '24 budget as posted and presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.